Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to WWF, or WWE, whichever way you want to look at it. Monday Night Raw, April 5th, 1999, retro review. Yes, I am back again. I watched both of these episodes back to back, so I will definitely give you my overall input and review on this episode. So, getting into things, let's start off with the first thing. We had an introduction, kind of giving an overall insight of what happened between the Ministry of Darkness and Vince McMahon, the capturing of Stephanie McMahon, and then being discovered by Ken Shamrock and so forth. So, great little introduction, giving us kind of a general insight of what's been, if you happen to miss the episode from back in the day. So, a good little introduction there. First thing that we got into was X-Pac and Kane facing Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart for the tag team titles. Why Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart had to defend the tag team titles again is beyond me. I have no idea why that had to happen, but X-Pac and Kane walked away as the new tag team champions for the first time ever. I didn't know they actually walked away as tag team champions this early in the year. So that was a bit shocking to me. I actually did not know that. I thought that was in the middle of the summer of 1999, but that actually was not the case. So they were going to become two-time tag team champions later on this year. Not to give away of a spoiler, but if you're a big, humongous fan and you know about the WWF from 1999, you know that X-Pac and Kane became tag team champions during the middle of the year of 1999. So, moving on here. And this match was a very decent match. It was very entertaining, fun to watch. Give it a 3 out of 5 stars, most definitely. Vince and Stephanie McMahon are backstage, surrounded by security. Shane runs in there, and excited about tonight, blah, blah, blah. Being the kid with the silver spoon in his mouth still and having a cocky attitude. Shane asks about the show, Steve Austin and Paul White. McMahon says he doesn't give a damn about it. Shane walks outside explaining to the whole corporation that this will be a night Austin and White will never forget. So, there you go. We get an interview with X-Pac holding the WWF Tag Team title. And Kane kind of just distancing himself from X-Pac simply because he is sick and tired of everybody. He had China at one point making him believe that he was starting to get emotions towards her technically and starting to feel like she actually cared about him. In all honesty, didn't give a rat's ass. Turned on him, went to DX, then went to the corporation. So he really doesn't trust the DX or anyone that's associated with the corporation. So that was basically it. Moving forward from there, we had a segment with Shane and Triple H, The Rock, in an interview, basically, out in the arena, with the corporation, and pretty much they went ahead and was talking a lot of shit about Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Big Show. A little unusual for The Rock and Triple H to be acting like they're friends when most of their career they acted like sworn enemies. Kind of an interesting little twist there. Never seen that done before. So this was actually kind of new for me to even be watching. So they go on and on. Let me see here. Just reading off the notes here that I have off of this review website for this specific event, trying to make this a little bit more detailed in the little segments that I was missing. But give me 1 second here. So basically what's going to happen is The Rock and Triple H in a handicap match with Paul White. So Paul White ends up being in a handicap match against The Rock and Triple H for the main event of Monday Night Raw. So from that point on, I mean, they did a pretty good little segment talking trash about Paul White and Steve Austin, and they just put Paul White in no holds barred handicap match, I guess. And that's basically it. So Ivory and Terry Reynolds, they end up in a confrontation. Ivory asks for the PMS, which is Jacqueline and Terry Reynolds all together. They make their way down to the ramp, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, not a lot going on here with Ivory and Terry Reynolds. This was just a load of crap. I didn't even really pay attention to this. The Undertaker ends up having an interview. The Undertaker comes into the ring with the whole Ministry of Darkness as he tells Mr. McMahon that something special to him, mainly referring to his daughter, is going to be sacrificed for that night. Well, remembering this episode, the sacrifice didn't end up being Stephanie McMahon. It happened to end up becoming Ken Shamrock's sister, Ryan Shamrock, which is a storyline character. He does not have a sister, by the way. He is not related to her in any way, shape, or form. Because I looked that shit up. I was kind of curious about that when I found out about it. I'm wondering if she was really a sister at the time, but what she really wasn't. So that was pretty much the overall segment at that point. Al Snow actually pinned Hardcore Holly in a hardcore. The match is not for the Hardcore Championship, so unfortunately, Al Snow just picks up a victory over Hardcore Holly in a one-on-one regular match. So moving on from there, Shane McMahon is shown in the production van telling the producers to put Austin's belt on the Titantron. This was actually an interesting little portion of the show that was entertaining, that's very memorable, and definitely I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. It is the main event segment, so I will definitely tell you once we get to the end. So it definitely was entertaining. So we go ahead, we get back to Monday Night Raw. We see Christian getting whipped by the Ministry of Darkness for revealing where Stephanie McMahon is to Ken Shamrock at the time. So Christian's getting his ass whooped. New Age Outlaws faced Edge and Gangrel in a tag team match. Got the victory and sworn to be the next tag team champions eventually later on down the line. Which, of course, if you're not familiar with wrestling history of the tag team titles, you should get a fucking book or a Wikipedia website and look up about the tag team titles, because fuck, man, they became tag team champions more times than you can count. They were a fucking good tag team back in the 90s and early 2000s. So that's pretty much all that has to be said. Steve Austin actually gets an interview. He explains that he is the champion with or without the belt, and the only reason he had it was to piss Vince off when he saw Austin. Austin says that if Shane puts the title back up on the Titantron, it will cost the McMahon family a lot of money. I wonder what the fuck he might be meaning by that. Then there was clips shown of last week's Raw, his war from when McMahon asked Shamrock to find Stephanie until when McMahon promised Shamrock that he will always be in debt to him. Okay, I don't know about that. But whatever. Ken Shamrock faced Viscera in a one-on-one match. Ended up being a disqualification. No big match here. Pretty much fucking boring-ass match altogether. The Ministry then carries Shamrock off into the crowd as Shane explains to the corporation that is a trap. Ken Shamrock is then stuffed into Paul Bear's trunk as a member of the Ministry drives off with him. This dialogue, this fucking grammar is fucking horrible. Paul White is shown stretching in the backstage area. Big fucking whoop-de-doo. I don't know what's so important about that. Whatever. Mankind actually had a match here, just a week after WrestleMania. A week after WrestleMania, 8 days after WrestleMania, and Mankind faces Val Venus in a one-on-one match, and ends up having him submit. This match, I'd give it a decent 3 out of 5 stars. Nothing bad there. Goldust faced the Godfather, and that ended up being a count out with the Intercontinental Championship on the line. No big deal there. That match was just complete and utter garbage. Vince is shown on a red emergency phone talking to somebody and saying that they will be fine. All of a sudden, the lights in the office started going out as the cops, along with Vince and Stephanie McMahon, go nuts. This was a bit crazy. Very entertaining, very good movie-type script writing here. I actually really enjoy, like I said in the last video, a very good unrailing of this storyline. It felt more like a movie-type script, and it was fun, it was realistic. Well, not realistic, but it was straight out of a horror movie. And it was well done. It wasn't over-the-top crazy, and it wasn't bad acting so much. I don't think the acting was that horrible for WWE standards, anyway. We then, as I already said, there was a sacrifice made with Ken Shamrock's sister, and that's basically it. Paul White faced The Rock and Triple H in the handicap match. This actually ended up being a no contest. The match overall just was pretty decent and okay to watch. It just, it went really nowhere. It just ended up being a disqualification. Austin came out to help Big Show in the process because he was being overmatched and beat up by a gang of other fucking idiots. And once again, they do the same thing. Then Shane McMahon just says, put that custom-made championship belt up on the screen. As Austin said earlier during the show, if this picture is shown on the Titantron, it's going to cost Vince McMahon a shitload of money. Well, Austin had Big Show pull down the Titantron to make it a little bit easier for him to do some little bit of artwork, I guess you could say. He took a sharp knife with a long extended pull and started cutting the fuck out of the Titantron and ruining that thing, costing Vince McMahon hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, very memorable moment, very cool. I think it was pretty enjoyable. The show is alright. I think March 29th was a bit better than the episode afterwards. But that moment was actually pretty damn good. I love the segments around the show. The matches could have been better, but overall, majority of the show, it was definitely well worth anyone's time to watch. I mean, it was pretty damn entertaining. You can find value in the show. So, without further ado, leave your comments and opinions down below. Hit that subscribe button, and have a great night, guys. And I will be back with one more video after this.